So I was asking the question that if anyone is happy with the number of web leads they're currently getting. So what if I could show you a way to increase that by over 30% without increasing your budget? Anyone going to say no to that? And we know this works because we're currently achieving this with many of our existing clients. So this afternoon, I'm going to be talking about how we all use a different range of devices when using the internet, new sources of traffic and what to do with it, and things you need to be doing to stay ahead of the curve so you can take advantage of your 30%. So who remembers when using the internet back at home was maybe going to a computer on the side of the room or underneath the stairs, and you'd have to boot it up. Perhaps it was using Windows 95 back in the day. That was 20 years ago, that's quite scary. And you used to have to unplug the phone line, plug the phone line back in, dial up AOL, and you used to have to sit there and use that machine, that computer, and use the internet. Believe it or not, that's how we used to do it. Does anyone still do that? Think about the last time you made a significant purchase. Was it holiday? Engagement ring? Kid's scooter, perhaps? Are we all familiar with using different devices? So you may have been on the phone on the way here, a little bit of that. If you come from work, could have been a bit of the desktop activity. And if you get that bit of me time, you might be on the sofa doing a bit of this on the iPad. 90% of us will switch device to complete a task. That's 90% of us using different devices when going online. So this is all how we use the internet. How do you think your clients are searching for your product or your service? How many of you in the room have already spent time configuring your website to make it responsive? Are your customers having to do that horrible pinch, zoom and squint when looking online? What happens to your brand across multiple devices? Nicola kindly shared with me the guest list on Monday, which means me and the team have been busy for the last 2 days looking at everyone's brand, looking at everyone's website on multiple devices to really see what experience you are giving your customers.
Everyone's just started shifting in their seats there.
I think there's sort of 30 or 40 of us here. We've got some travel clients, IT, software, and some manufacturing companies as well. And out of everyone, I'd say there's about a third of you, about a third that are doing things really well, so thumbs up. The rest of you, I think it really needs to be on your to-do list. The reason I say it needs to be on your to-do list is because 1 in 3 of us will immediately leave a non-mobile friendly website. That's 1 in 3 people. That's the equivalent of putting a close sign at the front of your shop or closing your factory down, your office perhaps. So ask yourself, do you stay on one of those sites which is hard work or has horrible navigation? Most people don't have the time to. Have you got the patience for that pinch, zoom, squint? I was at Google's head office in Dublin just before Christmas. There was 300 of us professionals flown in from around the world for their 2-day event. And this is a keynote speech that I sat in on regarding multi-device conversion rate and how they deem it to be such an important topic for 2015. So I just want you to take away the importance of mobile traffic. How many of the businesses here are currently advertising on Google? Okay, keep your hands up if you're still advertising on Bing. Well, okay, just 1 or 2. I've highlighted Facebook on there, but I think you should be sort of embracing social for the moment. Anyway, those few, the majority who said yes to advertising with Google, who's been doing that for maybe over 10 years? There for a long time? Great, okay. So consider where that was to where it is now. Something really exciting coming up next. Just 4% of people's time is spent on Google. It's just a stepping stone to the rest of the internet. So consider that significant purchase that you made, either on mobile, desktop, tablet. So you may have searched on Google a couple of keywords, landed on a website. No, that's not quite right, so you go back to Google, had another search, another website. Okay, you get in there, and that's still not quite right. So you go back to Google, you type in some keywords, and bingo, you've landed on this website, which is the website you were looking for. It's got great information on there. In fact, it's got tons and tons of great information on there. But you need to refine that search a little bit. Perhaps you're just looking for all-inclusive or half-board, perhaps. So what do you do next? What happens next? You probably search within that page. Sometimes there's a search bar at the top right to refine your searches. What do you think happens to that search? That time, that date, that device? Where do you think that data ends up? It ends up at our office. And what do we do with all this traffic, this data? We don't keep it under the desk. It's not stored in the filing cabinet. It's processed, configured, and redistributed. So that means we push your landing page or banner in front of that targeted user. So forget Google, forget Bing. This is some quite exciting things in the search industry, and we're really glad to be part of it. Potential customers can be targeted by keyword, interest, even competitor URL. I've got a great example of one of our clients, nationwide car buyer, who approached us with a cost per lead of £10 and said, your target is to get that to £5. So within 6 months of introducing other traffic sources, they're now paying £3.30 a lead. They're getting over 100 leads a day, and they haven't had to increase their spend at all. So what happens to all these visitors after they've visited your website? Remarketing is like getting a big net, like a butterfly net, and scooping all this traffic up and all this data into a net, and we can retarget these people. And that's regardless of traffic source. So they could have seen an editorial in a magazine, an advert on the side of a bus, clicked on a PPC ad, or taken advantage of the extra traffic that I've just mentioned previously. Think back to that significant purchase you made. Were you reading the news, checking the train times, perhaps tennis or golf scores? How do you stay at the forefront of your client, of your customers' minds, especially if they're part of that 90% that will be searching on different devices? Remarketing allows us to send your marketing message to potential customers with your key call to actions. I think they say that it's 8, 9, 10 different touches of engagement before someone will commit. 30% of those people who are retargeted will then go ahead and convert. That's based on a study from some of our clients where they'd either go and pick up the phone, complete the inquiry, or finish the sale. That's 30% more people who will then go ahead and convert. So these implications can mean the difference between winning that deal and not. If I were to ask you, who has that folder on their server which is called logos? That one where you've got logo 2015 final, underscore final final, underscore do not use, archive. And perhaps you've got that colleague that's a bit anal about how your brand's represented online. Brand police, we sometimes call them. But that person's probably doing real justice to your experience, the experience customers are getting online. It amazes me that people have a logo and assume that's their branding complete for the business. You really need to think about every touch, feel, smell, look and touch as well, and how they're going to be seeing that brand across all these different devices. And it's also so important, if we are going to retarget those, that you have got to recognise brands. Think back to that significant purchase and how you interacted with it and the experience that you got. Google are now routinely penalising non-mobile friendly websites. So I'll just say that again in English, but if your website is not mobile friendly, Google could be excluding your website from the search results. So if you look at Webmaster Tools, if you've got IT guys or you're familiar with web tools yourself, make sure you check that out because that could already be happening. So, staying advantage of the curve and taking advantage of this extra traffic. Don't keep retargeting the same audience, which may have already become exhausted or expensive. Source new traffic to get new customers. We have access to over 250 million UK searches a day. The CPC rates, cost per click, can be sort of pennies rather than pounds. A little trip down memory lane for those people who said they have been advertising with Google for a long time. We also see that clients who are taking advantage of the extra traffic are getting gains for SEO and the natural results in listings too. So, I think your phone's going off there, Nicola. So we've been learning how people are going to search across different devices. They're not just going to be under the stairs or in the spare room where that old computer is using Windows 95. What to do with these visitors after they've left? Remember, we can retarget these with pictorial-based remarketing banners with your call to actions. What having a strong and consistent brand means. Remember, no one wants to do that horrible pinch, zoom, squint I mentioned, and the importance of it being mobile friendly too. I'll say it again, but look out for extra traffic to get extra leads. So that tomorrow, when you get back to your offices, you have everything you need to take advantage of your 30%. Thank you.